So hello everybody and welcome to our very first Singapore playground for Amazon, or DevOps Playground Singapore for ECS Digital. This is awesome. We're all making history. This is our very first playground in Singapore. We've hosted a few of these now around the world. You know, as we will do these more and more each month, obviously the crowds will get bigger and bigger, but everyone here, you are the first people to ever attend this DevOps Playground Singapore. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. So before we start, just a little about myself. So my name's Si Nichols. I'm the Head of Innovation and Continuous Improvement at a company called ECS Digital. Been with this company for about 13 years now. So ECS Digital are DevOps transformation specialists. We focus solely on helping enterprise organizations achieve their change. The way that we do that is that we place engineers within those enterprise teams and enable them to deliver the right thing through business-driven development, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and ultimately DevOps. Like I said, I've been doing this for 13 years, and personally I have a passion for mentoring people, sharing knowledge, and helping people to realize their potential. Outside of my work, I've been learning to play the drums now for 2 years. So if anyone's looking for a jamming partner, give me a shout. So you might have heard me talk about this earlier, but at ECS Digital, we're passionate about playgrounds. We love learning new tech. There's so many things on the market, especially in the DevOps area, that are just cool to pick up and play with. What we found with previous meetups, especially in the UK, was that PowerPoint slides for a whole hour are just boring. You don't take anything in, you don't absorb anything, and you have nothing to take home with you to basically enhance what you're delivering, what you're trying to achieve at work. So we came up with DevOps Playgrounds. Ultimately, it's hands-on. The code, the solution is free. We've all done a clone of the GitHub repo, so it's yours to take. And it's to have fun, just to play around with some new tech. Maybe once after this playground, you can come up with some use cases for yourself, on how you can then expand this use case to implement it in your own place of work. We would try and achieve these playgrounds once a month and build up. So if anyone's got any ideas or suggestions on what we should cover in future playgrounds, give us a shout. If you happen to be in the UK, check out our meetup spaces for London and Edinburgh. And also we will be hosting our first DevOps Playground in our Pune office. Our first one's going to be next month, at the beginning of next month, and our team in India are going to be delivering a playground on Jenkins. So keep your eye out for that. So what's our agenda for today? So I'm going to go through what is Amazon Connect. Maybe some of us know what it is, some of us don't. And we'll talk about the use case that we're going to try and achieve in today's playground. We'll obviously start it. That'll take about 30 to 40 minutes, and some final thoughts and some pizza, I think some left, and some drinks, and for us to have a chat and let me know your thoughts on how tonight's playground went. So what is Amazon Connect? So Amazon Connect is a self-service, cloud-based contact center service that makes it easy for any business to deliver better customer service at lower cost. Amazon Connect is based on the same contact center technology used by Amazon customer service associates around the world to power millions of customer conversations. What's really good about Connect is that the graphical user interface makes it very, very easy for non-technical users to design contact flows, manage agents, and track performance metrics. So you don't need any specialized skill. And you'll realize that as we build up our demo today. And as with many other Amazon services, with Amazon Connect, there are no upfront payments or long-term commitments. There's no infrastructure to manage. Customers, you only pay by the minute for the Connect usage and any associated telephony services. So basically a pay-as-you-go model with Connect, which is really impressive. So we mentioned it in the previous slide that there's no infrastructure to manage, but what do we mean by serverless? So serverless refers to a computing model where the existence of servers or infrastructure is hidden from developers. Within Amazon's own ecosystem, Lambda, AWS Lambda is one such serverless offering. The power of serverless technologies allows you to focus more on what you're trying to achieve and less on the setup and maintenance to make that happen. With serverless, you don't have to concern yourselves with operating systems, provisioning servers. There's nothing to manage. If you want something, just press a button, you get it. If you're interested in reading anything further with our serverless, we've got a blog on serverless computing, links at the bottom there. So this is the use case that we're going to try and achieve in tonight's playground. It's quite simple. So the idea being is that we're going to call a telephone number and we're going to have a conversation. That conversation is going to be powered by Amazon Lex. So we're going to get asked a series of questions. We're going to give the responses. Once that conversation has finished, AWS Lambda is going to transcribe what we said. So we are going to be asked a question. We are going to be given a response. Amazon Lambda is going to pick out all of those responses, compose an email, and send an email via SNS to a response team. Lambda and SNS is going to be deployed via CloudFormation. So I wanted to give us all a flavor of deploying Amazon services through code. And in addition, we're going to need to set up an S3 bucket that will house our Lambda code. So these are all of the services that we are going to cover in tonight's playground. If you haven't come across Amazon before or AWS, let's quickly go over the services that we'll be covering. So the first one, S3, Simple Storage Service, is a highly scalable, highly available object storage. Okay. Amazon Lex, it's very cool, I do like it. With Amazon Lex, you can build conversational interfaces for applications that use voice or chat. So Lex is going to be the powerhouse for our conversations over the phone today. CloudFormation, very, very important. So what you can do with CloudFormation is you can model and set up your AWS resources through code. What's really important with CloudFormation, it's not necessarily infrastructure as code, but it's all of your AWS services as code. So we're going to set up obviously our Lambda and our SNS through CloudFormation today. SNS, so it's a simple notification service. So this is a publishing and subscribe notification service for coordinating delivery of messages to subscribing endpoints. So what that means is that we'll have an email and we'll subscribe that email to an SNS topic. Lambda will then send an email via the SNS topic, and then that email will be distributed to every single email that's subscribed to it. Obviously, you can use SNS for a lot wider way, like if you wanted to do a company update, for example, a newsletter, you can use SNS for that reason. And finally, Lambda. As we mentioned earlier, so Lambda is a compute service that allows you to run code without provisioning or managing servers. I think Lambda is my favorite. I've used Lambda a lot for automating a lot of tasks that I've had to achieve in my supporting role. Lambda is really powerful. If you haven't come across Lambda, definitely I'd encourage you all to start looking into that. So the whole purpose of tonight's playground is for me, so I'll go through, we'll set it all up, and I'll go through a pace that hopefully we can all keep up with. As you've noticed, tonight's session is being recorded, so we're going to host it up on YouTube, and you've all got access to the GitHub repo, which comes with a detailed README file as well. So if you can't keep up, keep calm and don't panic. You can always come and tap me on the shoulder afterwards to see wherever we've got stuck. But yeah, try and keep up and we'll see how we get on. So before we start, hopefully everyone's got a clone of the GitHub repo. So that's important if you wish to follow. And hopefully you've all followed the link on your piece of paper and filled in the form. At the end of submitting that form, you'll be given the AWS URL, which you can then use the username and password at the bottom to connect. Once you've logged in, we need to switch to the North Virginia region. Once we've logged in, we then need to switch role so that you're granted with the right permissions to achieve tonight's playground. Good to crack on? Okay. So first off, so I'm user 60, so I'm going to log in as user 60. And I'm logged in, and I can see in the top right hand corner I am in the North Virginia region. Yours might say Ohio or Ireland, so make sure that you switch that. In the README file from the GitHub repo, we just need to now navigate to the new role, and if you have a look, there is a switch role URL, so I'm just going to click on that. And in this page, I can see the account that I'm trying to switch role in, DevOps Playground Singapore, and the role. Fantastic. I'm going to select blue, and then I'm just going to press the switch role button at the bottom there. Okay. So if that's been successful, I should see North Virginia as my region, and I should see the role highlighted in blue in the top right hand corner. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to configure our S3 bucket and upload our Lambda code so it can be used later. So in order to do that, use the search text search field here, type in S3, and you can see the first one is the S3 link, so click on that. And simply press create bucket. As we're all going to create buckets and bucket names have to be unique, I recommend using your username as part of the bucket name. That will just avoid naming conflicts. So I'm just going to call mine user 60 playground. I need to make sure that it is part of the North Virginia region. Once you've configured that, press create. Do make a note of the bucket name because we will be using that later. So fantastic, we've got a few buckets being generated here. If that list does become a bit too long, you can use a filter at the top to limit what you can see. Let's give this a refresh. Fantastic. So user 1, you may have an issue of it being in island region. What you can do is you just create a new bucket and then just leave that one there and then just make sure the region's North Virginia. Okay, so what we now need to do is we need to upload our Lambda code. So select your bucket that you created and press on the name. I can see that I'm inside my bucket because at the top it's got my username, so that's me. And simply press the upload button on top left. You'll be presented with a new screen, and we just want to press the add files button there. Navigate to your the clone that you did of the repo, and inside the Lambda folder you'll see a lambda functions.zip, and that's what we need to select. Now there's nothing special with this archive file, it's simply the two .py files in a .zip format. For those obviously in the know, I shouldn't be uploading binaries into GitHub, that's a no-no, but the reason I did this was just for simplicity for tonight's playground. So select the zip file, press open, and then in the bottom left-hand corner, click upload. And then you'll see at the bottom, progress has started, done, and we are sorted. So hopefully straightforward, very simple. So what we're going to do next is we're going to now upload our CloudFormation template, which is going to configure AWS Lambda and our SNS service. In all honesty, we could have used CloudFormation to configure our bucket. I just thought it'd be something to do manually so that we can see how easy it is to create a bucket in S3. So going back to our AWS console, click Services at the top and type CloudFormation. Again, just double check that you're in the North Virginia region. User 1, have you just done that? Fantastic. That wasn't user 1? Good man. Cool. Okay, fantastic. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create the stack. So press the Create Stack button. Inside this Select Template screen, press the Upload Template to S3 radio button and click Choose File. Again, navigate to your GitHub clone, and there will be a file called lambdasetup.yaml. Okay. And then click Open. Click Next. So now we have to specify some details and some parameters. So for the stack name, use your username, again to avoid conflicts. And then we've got 4 parameters that we need to fill in. So the email address should be an email address that you have access to because you will be receiving messages through SNS. So I'm going to use my name, si@ecsdigital.co.uk. Type in then your bucket name. So for me, it was user 60 playground. Yours may be different. Topic name, again, use your username. So this will be created in SNS. So I'm just going to say user 60 topic. And then enter the username that you used to log in with. So this last one, what will happen is that your username will get appended to the Lambda function name. So obviously, if we all have a different username, it means that we won't get conflicts with the Lambda function. Once you're satisfied with that, click Next. For tonight's playground, we can ignore this, but it's always best practice in real life to fill in the tags, etc. But just scroll to the bottom and press Next. I can. Which step was that? Sorry, sir. Select template. Cool. So what I did, so because my template's already been uploaded, my different radio buttons selected, but all I needed to do is press Choose File. So this one here. Once I've done that, let's do it again anyway. Lambdasetup.yaml. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel that so that I don't undo my changes. So let's go back to the review screen. Let's just double check that all looks kosher. Yep, looks good to me. Could you say that again, sorry? All good? Fantastic. And then at the bottom, press Create. So whilst that's doing its thing, so fantastic, some other people, user 7, we had a bit of an issue. So what this is doing in the background is it's creating our Lambda functions, which will connect them to the code that we uploaded. It's also configuring the SNS service as well, okay? Through CloudFormation, we can see the progress. And if we click on a particular stack and underneath the Events tab, we can see the status of what's happening. So I can see that my Lambda function's been created, my SNS topic has been created, Lambda permissions have been set, and ultimately Create Complete has been set on my CloudFormation stack, which is fantastic. So if I give this a quick refresh, user 60 is complete. So user 7, we have obviously rollback complete, so something went wrong. So let's have a quick look. So as you can see, I've selected your stack, I've highlighted it. Under the Events tab, what happened? So it failed to create the functions, the Lambda functions. Error occurred, no such bucket. So we can see here, S3, no such bucket. So whoever's user 7, when you uploaded your template and put your parameters, the bucket name was incorrect. Okay, but that's great. I think that's a good use case. You can see, so I had no idea what was happening. We saw that there was an error, fine. So let's click on the Events tab. Let's go to the point where it failed. Great, bucket name was out. So what you need to do for this, user 7, is you need to delete your stack. So make sure your stack is selected. It's highlighted, ideally with a checkbox on the left-hand side. Under Actions, delete stack. That will wipe it away, and then you can re-upload your YAML file and start again. And this is the beauty of CloudFormation. I upload it, it fails, something went wrong, no problem, let's wipe it, start again. Very, very powerful. Okie dokie, so mostly green, so I'm gonna continue. In addition, if you check your inbox, you should have received an email from Amazon SNS asking you to confirm your subscription to the SNS topic. As part of this email, I need to click on the link to confirm my subscription, so let's do that. And I'll just get a quick notification and confirmation from Amazon to say, yep, your email has been subscribed. If you don't confirm your subscription, subsequent messages that are sent to that email won't be received or won't be sent. Okay. So if we go back to this diagram, and in the sake of, let's say, 10 minutes, we've set up everything now on the right-hand side. Obviously, S3 was a bit manual. We could have included it in CloudFormation, but we've set up all of that just through a few clicks and a couple of file uploads. So what we're going to do now is we're going to configure Amazon Lex. So as we mentioned earlier, Amazon Lex is going to be the conversational workhorse for this use case. Once we've configured Lex, we'll then stick Amazon Connect in front of it so that we can call up and interact with it. Now with this particular example, only I can create the Amazon Lex bot for this. And the reason for this is that there is an intent called leave message inside Amazon Lex. And if we all try and create a bot, even if the bot name is different, because the intent leave message will be the same, we're going to get conflicts. Okay. Yes, absolutely. So we can have a look. So no problem with the topics. So the topics were part of SNS, and obviously because our CloudFormation templates uploaded, create complete, it means we don't have conflict with the topic. It's fine. It's only with the bot we discovered in our dry run. If you all try and upload a bot, even though they're different names but have the same intent name, you get build conflicts, which is fine. So let's go to Lex. So user 1, I'm unfortunately going to remove this bot, and the only reason for that is so that everyone else can just see how a bot's created. But you know, it's a great initiative. That, to be honest, it's perfectly fine, but just for the benefit of everyone else, I just want to go through the steps of what it takes in order to set up a bot. So forgive me, user 1. So just to let you know what I'm doing, before I can delete the bot, I have to delete the alias. Okay, so I'm going in manually, removing the alias, and then if I go back, I can then just trash the bot. If I try to delete the bot without removing the alias, a little pop-up will come up and complain, okay? So like I said, just watch me for this particular part. It's being recorded, so obviously you can, in your own environment, you can go through it at your own pace. So what we need to do is I need to go to my Lex folder inside my GitHub clone, and there is a file called callbot.json. Line 8, you can see that there is a name that I just need to fill in. So let's call this playground bot. In order to upload this JSON file, I need to compress it. So let's turn that into a zip. Cool, job done. And now I'm simply going to upload it. So I can go to Actions and Import. As you can see, it says upload a zip file. So let's navigate to that archive that I just created. So this is my GitHub clone, and hopefully underneath Lex, ta-da, I've got my zip. Fantastic. And press Import. So this will just give us a status of the intents that are going to get generated and the call reason slot types. So that looks good to me. So I just need to press overwrite and continue. So that overwrite and continue is quite important. As you can see, we'd all start conflicting on the leave message intents. So what's important for the status is that it's in a not built status. So we need to rectify that. In addition, what we need to do, so I've just created the bot here, but I need to now establish this connection from Lex to Lambda, okay, so that when something happens in Lex, it will fire off Lambda. So let's set up that connection now. So I'm going to go into my bot, press it there. And underneath the editor tab, you can see that I've got a leave message intent. If I scroll halfway down, there is a fulfillment section. And I need to select the AWS Lambda option. Now in my drop down, I can select any of the leave message Lambda functions. I'm just going to select mine. Nice little safety security feature in Amazon. So it's asking us to grant permissions between Lex and Lambda, which I think is quite cool. So yep, I want to clarify that. I believe it creates a role and attaches a policy to it as well, yes. So it's a really good question. So what you have to bear in mind is that after this, you, like in your environment, etc., make sure you have a look and make sure there's a bit of a tidy up. But yes, it does do that in the background for you. And once you're satisfied, press Save Intent. So I need to build this now. So in the top right-hand corner, I've got a build button, so I'm going to press that. And what will be really cool once the build is complete is we'll get to test it using the interface on the right-hand side and have a text-based conversation with my bot based on the slots and the sample utterances that I have configured here. And this is what I think the cool thing is about Playground. Maybe the bot is of interest to you, nothing else is. So extract the bot part of this Playground, install it into your own environments and see what you can do to build it further. So fantastic, we've got a confirmation that the build was successful. So I am happy about that. And let's have a quick test. So I'm going to say hello. And you can see the first question, please leave your name. So my name is Sai. What's the reason for your call? So obviously the ultimate use case is why are you calling us? So let's say that I'm interested in training. What date would I like my call returned? So again, remember for the use case is that after the conversation is transcribed, an email will be sent to a response team. Obviously, the recipient of that email would need to know when they need to call that person back, hence the question. So let's say tomorrow. What time would I like my call returned by? Let's say midday. And what's my company name? So let's say ECS Digital. Cool, thank you. Your message has been sent. So what has happened is that we've just interacted with Lex via chat. It should have called Lambda. Lambda would have transcribed all of my responses, and hopefully we should get an email now that contains the output of that conversation. So let's check. Here we go. Fantastic. It's very simple, straightforward. Sai from ECS Digital called regarding training. please call back by the 19th at 12. Now, what's really cool about this is, if you remember, I typed in tomorrow as the date, but Amazon worked that out, to have a more humanistic conversation. It translated tomorrow into the 19th, and also I said midday of when I wanted that call back, and you can see that Amazon Lex has converted that to 12, and that's really cool. Amazon have put a lot of thought so that when you have these interactions, it doesn't feel like you're having a conversation with a robot, that they've tried to make them as human as possible. Cool, so that's all good, that's all working. So the final thing that we need to do now is stick Amazon Connect in front of it. So instead of interacting with our bot through text, we're going to call a phone number, and we'll be able to have that conversation in real time through voice. So everyone can be part of this if you like, and we can go into the Connect interface and configure it. So in order to navigate to Connect, one more thing, I just need to publish it. Let's set an alias, playground bot. So in order to navigate to the Amazon Connect part, in Services, click on Services on the top left-hand side and type Connect. I probably can do that. Oh no, let's do it here. Here we go. That looks all good to me, so close that. So Services, Connect, and then the first one that pops up, Amazon Connect, so click on that. So for this next step, because we've only created one bot, we only need to associate one bot. So essentially that's making the connection, this connection arrow here. So I'll do this step. So this was the screen that pops up with Amazon Connect. So I'm simply going to click on the alias. And then at the bottom on the left-hand side, contact flows. Halfway down, we've got a Lex section. And I'm simply going to select my playground bot. And then press Add Lex bot. Okay. Oh, we've got user one bot. So that's interesting. So remember, we removed user one bot, but it stayed there. So interesting behavior there. But I'll leave that there for now. So going back to, the overview section, I've got my login URL here. So click on that. And you can simply log in with the credentials that are on your piece of paper. Okay. Just one thing to bear in mind is that the username and password configured in Connect are not the same as your IAM user that was set up. They are two completely separate authentication mechanisms. I've just made the username and password the same in IAM and Connect for simplicity's sake, but I just wanted to let you know in case you thought it was being authenticated through IAM. It's not the case. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to configure our JSON file to upload for our contact flow. So if I go back to my GitHub repo, I've got my Connect folder, third one down. Leave message flow.json. Line 11, I have my flow name. So let's stick something in. And click Save. Navigate back to Connect. On the left-hand side, press this arrowy icon here, or hover over it. And then the third option down, we've got contact flow. So press contact flows. And then in the top right-hand corner, we have a button, Create Contact Flow, so press that. And in the drop-down, we have Import Flow. Simply navigate to that file that we just modified. And then press Import. Easy peasy. So this is the simplicity of the contact flow designer in Amazon Connect. Very easy, very straightforward. Each one of these sections represents an action as part of your conversation experience. So if I just hide this menu here. So in this particular example, what will happen is the telephone conversation will start, and then it will kick off this get customer input section, which we will link it to our bot. Our bot will ask us questions. Once that conversation has finished, then the call will simply hang up. To help visibility, what happens if you can't get through to the bot or the bot's not working properly? We have this other option where we can play a prompt, which you can configure to your liking. So we've got here, sorry, we didn't quite understand that. And then what will happen in this part of the contact flow is it will start to transfer you to a queue, so that then a real life agent can pick up the call and be like, okay, cool, you're having problems, how can I help you, sort of thing. So this flow was just to give you an example of an automated route and a non-automated route. So what I need to do here for the get customer input, if I click on it, this new section will appear on the right hand side. And if I scroll down, I have my Lexbot section. So you can all do this. If you just press your down arrow, you can see that we've got our playground bot, Northeast Virginia, and that's the one we want to select. And then we press save. So that's looking good to me. So in the top right hand corner, we're going to press save and publish. And we can see that our contact flow was saved successfully. So all good. I'm happy about that. So the last step, what we now need to do is we now need to claim a telephone number, associate that phone number to this contact flow and call it and see what happens. In order to claim a phone number, we go back to routing, and the second option, phone numbers, we want to select that. And you can see on the far right hand side there is claim a number button, so let's click that. Very important for this use case, make sure that you've selected the direct inward dialing tab. And then for the country, you can select any country you want. I'm just going to select UK. And what you can do here is Amazon will give you a list of numbers. So if you've got a particular preference, you can select one. In our instance, it doesn't matter, so I'll take the first one. And then if we scroll down, I just need to insert a description and then associate it to my contact flow that we just previously uploaded. So let's call this playground contact flow. And there we have user 60 flow at the bottom. So I'm going to select that. So what that will mean is every time this phone number is called, it will automatically kick off this contact flow. So what you can see now that is you can claim multiple numbers and associate them with different flows. You can even transfer an individual to a different flow if they call the same number, etc. There are lots of possibilities in Amazon Connect. And that's it. Should we give it a test? Let's give it a test. So I'm just going to come out of full screen mode for Chrome so that you can see the pop-up. So I really like this with Amazon Connect. So you can see in the top right-hand corner, there is this telephone icon. So let's press that. And what that does is it brings up this little pop-up, which is allows us to make calls. So this is a contact control panel, the CCP, and then we can make outbound calls through this little panel, which is, I think, it's a really cool feature. So let's press dial a number. And here's mine here. So 238214 8709. Oh, that's right. 821. Press dial.
Welcome to Amazon Connect demo. Say yes to leave a message or speak to agent to be transferred.
Yes.
Please leave your name.
Sai.
What is the reason for your call?
Training.
What date would you like your call returned?
Tomorrow.
What time would you like your call returned by?
Midday.
What is your company name?
ECS Digital.
Thank you. Your message has been sent.
Awesome. So you can see now that as part of that text conversation that we had with Lex earlier, in order to test the bot, we are able to now put Amazon Connect in front of it, dial a phone number. It would work from obviously your mobiles if you wanted to. Amazon Connect hooked up with Lex, and we started having a conversation, and it looked like it took all my answers, which I'm quite impressed about. So if I check my inbox, here we go. Yeah. So very interesting. So I said, what was my name? Sai. It transcribed that to all right, whatever. And remember, my company name was ECS Digital. That transcribed that as yeah, fantastic. Called regarding training. Remember, I said tomorrow, so that's fantastic. It then interpreted that and set it as tomorrow's date, and call back by midday, which I think is pretty awesome. So that brings us to the end of this particular use case. Yes, sir. Oh no, sorry, just scratching ahead. My bad. Sorry. So in tonight's playground, we set up something where we can call a number, have a conversation with the bot, have that conversation transcribed, and an email sent to a response team. What was really key about this is that we had no infrastructure to manage. It was all serverless. What's really important to bear in mind is that we've barely scratched the surface of what these Amazon services have to offer. But hopefully it's given you a flavor and exposed you to at least the capabilities of what Amazon has to offer. So it gives you a platform to take it home, explore, and extend it to your heart's content. Especially with Amazon Connect, whenever you create an Amazon Connect instance, you get given, I think, a set of about 20 sample contact flows. So if you are genuinely interested in enhancing your experience with Connect, go through each one of those flows and see what it has to offer. Okay, I think that would be a very important next step. So yeah, I definitely hope you've enjoyed it. You've got the GitHub repo, so definitely take it home with you, and we'll post the video and go through it and explore at your heart's content. Just a quick plug. So at ECS Digital, we are certified trainers in both HashiCorp and CloudBees Jenkins. Not only are we certified trainers, we are the official partners for training for these two companies, okay? So therefore, if you are looking to enhance your knowledge or fill in any gaps in these technologies, give us a shout and we can help you out. We are planning to do a HashiCorp public training in Singapore in November, last week of November. I think it's week commencing the 26th. So yeah, if you are interested in some HashiCorp training, give us a shout. And hopefully we'll see you at the next playground. Thank you very much. That's it.